Do you struggle with chronic pain? Do you sometimes feel like the medical industry fails you and simply wants to medicate your pain? If so, today's TGI If at Work podcast is for you. Stay tuned.
How do I bring my faith to work? How do I tap into the power of God in my work-life call? Why am I going through this adversity? Is God mad at me? I'm Oz Hillman, and I've been helping leaders like you answer these questions and more for over 30 years. That's what this podcast is all about. Let's learn and grow together. Welcome to TGIF, Today God is First.
All right, welcome everybody. People are still coming on. Looks like a lot of late people tonight, but good thing we record these things so everybody can get it. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Pamela, who is remote in a car.
Yes.
Wherever
Sorry
you
about that.
are. And she had a job that she needed to be on today. But we still wanted her to get on. We'll have our guest speakers on in a minute. But I want to welcome everybody, especially our Change Agent Master Mentor members. Glad to have you guys on here tonight. And, tonight is a session that could be really life-changing for many people. And I know it has changed Pamela and my life in the area of health. And we're talking about regenerative health and stem cell treatments and things around that nature. And so if this is new to you, it could really impact you. And so, Pamela, let's go ahead and start by, let me just introduce them by reading their bios. And, one of the things that I know is so important to many people when they look at something that's new, they want to know who are the people we're dealing with. Because
somebody's moving around, making a lot of noise.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that. The paper, I was moving my paper and my audio is very.
That was you. Okay.
That's my.
Sorry.
Very sensitive, and I forgot about that. So let me just read. Dr. Leslie Pace has been a practicing anesthesiologist with a fellowship in pain management for over 2 decades. She completed her internship, residency, and fellowship at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. For many years as a pain management physician, Dr. Pace has, as most physicians, alleviated symptoms rather than treat the causative factors of her patients' degenerative conditions. And that's really what the state of health is today. They're just dealing with symptoms rather than really some root causes. She is more inspired than ever to be a medical doctor and be empowered to finally help regenerate and restore health from the inside out at a cellular level. Dr. Pace has practiced Western pain medicine in her own pain clinic at the University of Alabama, where she also served as faculty. Dr. Pace discovered regenerative medicine 8 years ago, and it re-inspired her medical career since it first, quote, does no harm, unquote, and abides by her Hippocratic oath. And second, it produces positive outcomes in over 80% of her patients. A significant differentiating factor of Dr. Pace and Regenerate Medical Arts is that her team coaches and mentors each and every patient to live a regenerative lifestyle. While applying the 80-20 principle, 80% of the time maintain a regenerative regimen, and 20% of the time patients are free to not deprive themselves of personal cravings. By abiding in our regenerative lifestyle, it not only adds years to your life, but also life to your years. Simply put, live better longer. Dr. Pace lives and promotes human optimization since we have just one body, one mind, and one life to live. So why not optimize it without becoming a fanatic and take all the fun out of life? You can have your carrot cake and eat it too. We invite you and yours for a free, no obligation, no pressure educational consultation to meet our amazing team tour our state-of-the-art stunning facility at the Atlanta Medical Institute and make an educated decision as to who and where you receive modern miracle of regenerative medicine. The moment you meet Dr. Pace and our team, you instantly recognize their sincere compassion and dedication to redeem the definition of healthcare for each and every one of our patients. So they're a husband and wife team, and John is her husband and a co-founder and president of the clinic with nearly 4 decades of experience in the health and well-being. John Pace is the most passionate and committed healthcare professional in the industry. At 62 years young, John walks his talk and lives by what he teaches and preaches. He wholeheartedly lives and breathes a regenerative lifestyle and is one of Dr. Pace's very first patients. After nearly 2 decades working directly with physicians of all specialties, he's learned the most advanced, time-tested, proven health and wellness regenerative strategies available. He will inspire you and your family to pace yourself to optimal health and well-being. He will personally help you and yours achieve and maintain your personal state of optimal health and well-being for the rest of your lives. No matter what your age or medical condition is, everyone can take one step at a time and pace themselves towards a healthier, happier, more vibrant, pain-free lifestyle. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Today is your day to take your first step in the right direction and achieve your optimal state of well-being. Let's see, that's my place there. So anyway, how long ago was it, Pamela, that we met them?
Let's see. John, can you do your video?
No, I don't want him on. He's
Oh, you
not on
don't?
you. That's on purpose.
Okay, sorry. I'm not running this. Sorry. Yeah, so I went through another organization back, I think it's been about maybe 6 years, and I met Dr. Leslie there. So the very first time that I discovered this, the stem cell regenerative health, I said that's going to be it for me, because I had so many neck injuries, so many back injuries, and I'm very active. I'm just always doing. So that's what I did the very first time. It wasn't through Dr. Leslie. It was the neck, and I'll have to say that one wasn't what I expected. But when I met her, now everything went up from there. And I just last Monday, got stem cell injections in my left shoulder. And it was a month before I got them in my right shoulder. I have had them in my shoulders before. It lasts about 3 years. But this time it was different. And even I spoke with Dr. Leslie and John about it and said, what was different this time? Because I was able to move, and I had very little pain even the next day, because the first time I was in a lot of pain. I'll just have to tell you. And it was a couple of weeks, but then I was able to do everything. And when I say I'm active, I'm just really active all the time. I'll do whatever. Like right now, I've got a painting and repairs company, and I'm over here helping the guys paint, because we got to wrap the job up, and I got to go through and make sure that everything's done well, right? So anyway, and plus I run the ministry. And
You've had several treatments since then, and I had a treatment because I was diagnosed with rotator cuff problem, and that was going to be a very painful operation and keep me off the golf course for 9 months. And I didn't like that idea.
no, he didn't. Yeah,
So
he didn't.
John thought that
Well,
he could help us. And so I had stem cell put in my left shoulder. I think I'm going on 3 years, and it's like I never have a problem. It's done really well for me. So
I had it in my back also. I had it in my back in what was it? August, September. sometime around there. And uh, it's just, it's like it's your own body. It's what you need. It's like when you're thirsty, you drink water. This is the water for your body. This is what your cells need to regenerate. It's I was bone to bone in my shoulder, but all both shoulders. My body, okay? I think I'm bone to bone throughout my body. But um so the way that I can describe it easily is or it's just easy for me this way is it's like a tire tube. Okay. When they inject this into this, there's a little bit of space there between, and it's like a tire that just starts inflating. And it's the cushion that's needed between the two bones. So I know I didn't say that well with what you guys are going to say, but that's
Yeah,
how
we'll let them talk medically about that
yeah,
a little better. But
yeah, but it has been amazing. And this is the great thing is that we use Samaritan Ministries insurance and they pay 100% of regeneration. I mean, anything with regenerative health or chiropractic, they're holistic, right? So they pay 100%. We have to pay up front, but they reimburse us. So it's really a beautiful thing. And they're my dear friends now, my sister and brother in Christ. I love them dearly.
We love you.
Yes. Yes.
and we were going to get into this later, but a portion of Medicare covers this as well. So if anyway, we can talk more details about some of that. But welcome, guys, to TGIF at Work podcast. We're glad to have you with us, and you guys look great together there in your office.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us.
It is a privilege and honor.
It is
Thank
an
you
honor.
for the invitation.
Thank you.
Pamela, we love you and
We love
us,
you
and
guys.
you guys are our extended family. And just
Yes,
thank you for
we
the
are.
privilege to help some more people and
Absolutely.
with this miracle modality that really is straight from God.
Straight from God.
It is.
Yes.
So for those who this might be completely new to them, let's talk from the beginning and really define regenerative medicine and also stem cell. Let's tell us about the history of it and how it came about, how you guys got involved, and where we are today with it.
Sure. I guess the first thing I'd like to say is do a little disclaimer that my beautiful, gorgeous, better half, my wife, and our chief medical officer, our medical director, Leslie actually does, Dr. Leslie does all of the procedures, and she loves to practice medicine. She's very meticulous, very precise. She's not a huge fan of talking in front of a lot of people. So I just don't want anybody to think that I'm going to hog the podcast, but
And
she's
he
like,
loves to talk.
well, it's one of my, God just gave me the ability to articulate, communicate, and not feel a little bit uncomfortable with it. I've been doing it for so many years, it's second nature.
He's
So,
good at it.
But she is the best doctor after 40 years in the medical space. She is by far the most complete doctor, not only with her skill sets, her knowledge of anatomy and physiology, her meticulous nature and her precise nature of practicing, but she has a heart of gold, a heart of a servant, and she literally truly lives to serve others and help others like you guys. I mean, it blesses us exponentially to know that we have reduced your pain. I mean, this whole human experience is like that age-old adage of if you don't have your health, having your health is having everything. And so we just help leverage the exact way that God created us from the beginning. He created us to live perpetually, right? To live forever. And our bodies would naturally be in a regenerative state at all times. And he created us that way. That was our master design, our intelligent design. We're now just leveraging that in a way that we are just simply facilitators. Regenerative medicine at its core is taking the exact identical way that God masterfully designed the human body and physiology to heal itself. And we're just leveraging those things. And the bottom line component is a stem cell, or more distinct, is a mesenchymal stem cell, is a very unique stem cell. It's otherwise known as an MSC, as an acronym. But a mesenchymal stem cell, the unique properties about it is it enters your body. When we introduce them into your body, whether it be your own or a donor source, they're like a heat-seeking missile that is basically going throughout your body, looking for any and all areas of disrepair, any areas of degeneration, and basically just activating that area. And it turns in and transforms into whatever type of cell that your body needs to repair itself.
So in other words, stem cells are called undifferentiated cells. They've been studied since the 1800s. But 1980s, around that time is when it sort of became more popular to help people regenerate their bodies. And so
that long, huh?
that long.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's stem cells have been studied for a long, long time. And so they're undifferentiated, and they can, which means that they can turn into any cell that your body needs to be regenerated. So if your body has cells that are damaged that are create blood vessels, that they will create new blood vessels. If your body has nerve cells or neurons that need to be recreated, they can turn into nerve cells. They can turn into any organ cells in your body that need to be regenerated or are damaged.
And that's why it's really all God doing it. People come to us and they're like, oh man, we just got a text from a husband and wife that flew from California. They flew across 1,000 regenerative clinics on the way to us in Atlanta, but they know that we take a holistic approach. We treat the whole patient. We coach our patients to live a regenerative lifestyle, because it's not just about you guys coming in, let's inject your shoulder with stem cells and go home and you're going to be great. There's a synergistic kind of benefit by doing these modalities and living this lifestyle. As Oz had mentioned, 80% of the time, it's not being a fanatic 100% of the time, it's being consistent. And when you combine these modalities, it has a truly profound, miraculous effect. And one thing I wanted to share, that we went from an 80% success rate, we're now at like 9.5 out of 10 patients. And again, this is not us. This is us being just facilitators of the way God masterfully designed our body
to heal itself.
To heal itself. And we're just leveraging that by the things that he created to do that within internally within our anatomy and throughout our physiology. So it's a really remarkable science, and we're very extremely passionate. We're driven by serving and helping others like Pamela and us to just live a better life, be pain-free, to be functional, to have better memory and cognitive skills. There are so many exponential benefits by just practicing consistent regenerative therapies. And it's just really profound. We've been in all sorts of types of practices and been exposed to all different types of therapies and modalities. We have never to date. And here's the big kicker. As Oz mentioned, every physician makes a vow, an oath, the Hippocratic Oath. The first segment of the Hippocratic Oath says, first, do no harm. And unfortunately, in our country, in our culture, Western medicine and pharmaceuticals have created side effects and things that, they're trying to remedy things by just masking symptoms, where we deal with regenerative medicine with the root causative factor. Why do you have pain? Why do you have inflammation? How do we eliminate that? Give you more functionality, more cognitive clarity, and reduce and eliminate mental fog. Just so many different things we've experienced over the past decade of doing this. From the youngest person we've treated is a 3-year-old little boy that had multiple sclerosis. We've treated up to an 87.
Right.
So 87 is, we have an 87-year young woman that is just doing remarkable. And she's had similar treatments to Pamela and to us, and she's doing remarkably well. She's pain-free. And everybody in between, all kinds of autoimmune disorders, degenerative joint conditions of all ages. And it's really a remarkable science.
And everyone is born with stem cells in your body. So that's the way your body is naturally born and made to heal itself. As you get older, your stem cells, do decrease and decrease in efficacy, but we've had really, really good results harvesting people's own stem cells from their bodies who are 80 plus years old, and it works magically.
It's remarkable.
It's remarkable.
Well, and
so there's different ways to get stem cells. So you're born with stem cells. We can harvest your adipose, your fat stem cells from your body, and process those and put them back into you wherever you need them. We can put them intravenously so that they go throughout your body. And like John said, they're like heat-seeking missiles, and discover cells that are damaged and repair those cells throughout your body. We can also put them in specific areas in different joints. If you have back pain, if you have hip joint pain, knee, elbow, shoulder, different joints, we can, put them in the specific joints. And we can also use stem cells from other donors, which come from a full-term healthy live birth, where the mothers donate their umbilical cells to anybody who needs them. They go through lots of different testing to make sure they're very, safe. And we take those umbilical stem cells, which are also mesenchymal stem cells, MSCs, and we can put those in your joints as well. And they are immune privileged, so you don't have to worry about any rejection or, host graft versus host disease, any rejection, because they're immune privileged cells. So they're very safe for you to use.
So I think Pamela and I have mostly benefited because of joint pain or something, neck or shoulder or et cetera. Does stem cells help disease? And if so, what type of disease have you seen it actually have a positive effect on?
Yes, we worked with a lot of autoimmune diseases. People with alopecia universalis, people who have lost all of their hair all over their body. We've treated them, multiple treatments, and created more hair growth for them. We've treated diabetes, COPD, autism, all kinds of autoimmune diseases. So,
yeah, we're one of the only, well, we are the only organization that we know of in the United States. We're part of about 500 medical doctors worldwide that's called the Cell Surgical Network. We work under an IRB. We're the only people in the United States. You guys have, I'm sure, heard about people flying over to Costa Rica, flying over to Panama to the Reardon Clinic. They're paying 3 times the amount of money. They're in areas that are completely unregulated. We are the only organization, again, that we're aware of in the US that can actually extract your adipose tissue, separate out your personal mesenchymal stem cells, and then reinfuse them systemically through an IV. Not only can we inject them, but we can infuse you, which goes throughout your entire body,
with your own stem cells.
Right, and it crosses your blood-brain barrier, so it deals with any type of pre-dementia issues or any type of cognitive limitations. Stem cell therapy with infusions is the way to go. Degenerative joint conditions, we do a combination at times with infusion and injections.
We've treated rheumatoid arthritis, all kinds of arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, osteoarthritis.
With great success.
With great success.
And I want to clarify, there's a definite place, a very definite, significant place for Western medicine. Obviously, you get in an auto accident, something happens, we need medicine, we need anesthesia, we need surgeries, but there is definitely a time and place for that. This is more of a, well, for instance, getting injected in your shoulder. If Pamela and us would have came to us and we practiced typical Western medicine, Leslie being a pain doctor for 25 years, most Western medicine docs put steroids or cortisone, which does damage to healthy tissue. Every injection you have of cortisone increases your risk for osteoporosis, which none of us want to get soft bones, right? I mean, makes it more brittle and prone to breaking your hip or, those sort of things. So the best news about regenerative is there's no real negative or derogatory side effects, unlike Western medicine. We've never in one single case experienced a negative side effect. And we've done this for now going on almost a decade. And it's just, we're just helping so many people. It's really exciting and inspiring for us because the technology is advancing every single month. There's new breakthroughs in regenerative medicine, and we stay on the cutting edge as it evolves. We evolve with it, which is why we went from an 80% success rate to a 9.5% within the last 3 years because of these additional breakthroughs in the evolution of the technology.
And steroids are a good anti-inflammatory.
Absolutely.
But they're like a Band-Aid. So it's,
Right.
Short treatment, but you don't want to continue to do it over a period of time because it actually degenerates joints instead of regenerates joints over a period of time.
So I want to ask another question, but before I do, I want to talk to the people that are online. If you have a question, put it in the chat area and we'll take those questions at the end. And
Please.
so, have you seen any progress in terms of the length of time the stem cells affect positive change? And in other words, like I think I'm close to 3 years on mine. Is there any changes that are happening with that, or is it by individual basis?
It's very individualized. We have some people who were treated 7 years ago and are still pain-free.
100% pain-free.
So it's just very individualized. It definitely depends on your diet. It depends on your lifestyle, your activity level.
That's where we get into
if you smoke or not.
Right.
So yes, it's very individualized. We have people, like I said, we treated my cousin, for instance, what, 7 years ago?
It was about 6, yes.
About 6.5 or 7 years ago. And we treated her knees. She's overweight, but she's still pain-free, and she could barely walk when I treated her knees. And so she's completely pain-free today. So I guess it just depends.
It depends on your state of health. It depends on your condition and the severity of it. Everybody responds different. For us, we get a very high success rate in just about everybody. They're noticing a measurable, significant improvement. And that's what we're after, really, is number one, let's try to do everything we can to prevent surgery, because once you do surgery and you cut through nerves and you cut through tissue, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to go back to how it was before surgery. With stem cell therapy, there's really no downside. The worst thing that can happen with regenerative medicine is nothing. The worst thing that can happen with Western medicine approaches, a lot of things can go wrong. I mean, surgeries have long recovery time. They have potential infection, there's definite risks with Western medicine, where the risks associated with regenerative are very, very low, if not any. And we've never experienced any bad or negative side effects in the practice that we've done for 10 years.
All right, we have a question here from Faith that says, have you had any connection with Batten families? I have no idea what that means.
Batten families?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Maybe
Faith, if you can clarify, we're not sure. We've never heard of that.
Okay. Maybe
you mentioned you had a 3-year-old child with what was the disease? Multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
I have 2 children. Well, our daughter has passed away, but I have a son with Batten's disease. But it is a degenerative disease that nobody's heard of, so don't feel chagrined that you've never heard of it. It's the one they teach about on Friday afternoon when everybody's gone to play golf. So anyway, yeah. So it comes in several different forms. Our children had had the juvenile form. So they're about around age 5 to 6, they start going blind, and then around age 10, seizures, and it just continue on. So our son's fully in a wheelchair, and I have to hand feed him and everything now. But I have been using since he was about 7. Well, actually, she was 6 years older. So I've been using digestive enzymes and just a lot of, whole health therapies. And it's kind of prolonged his life. So anyway, I just wondered so actually Batten's disease was the first stem cell implantation that was done in Oregon State University around 2013. And but they found that they chose the late infantile form of Batten's disease because the kids were young enough but old enough that they could watch the progression. But anyway, what they found is the DNA pulls it back to the stem cells are eventually attached to the old DNA, and it just continues on. So there was a small, upswing for a few months or whatever, but then it would pull back again. So I just wondered if you'd had any connection with that at all.
We've not had any personal experience with a patient with that condition. However, what we tell patients is, at the end of the day, if you can afford regenerative therapy, which in Pamela and Asa's case, it is a tremendous blessing that Samaritan Ministries covers this type of modality, because no other insurance companies we know of will cover this yet. We do believe that it's in the near future, because there are so many, literally millions of people that are refraining from surgery, going the regenerative route. And somebody like me, I'm 63 today. I've been a candidate for double hip replacements for the past 2 decades. She infused me and injected me. It's going to be 9 years this coming Memorial Day. I've had 2 other therapies, 2 other treatments since then. I am 98% of the time pain-free. I'm fully functional. So at the end of the day, it's kind of, there's so much benefit by just doing regenerative. If you can do it, it's something that could potentially not only save your life, it could extend your life, and it could certainly prevent you from any unnecessary surgeries, any type of addictive pain medications. It's just so much better of a solution, and it's so congruent with the way God masterfully and intelligently designed our bodies to heal itself and to regenerate.
How's that child that's 3? How is that child with multiple sclerosis doing, and how old are they now?
This was about 7 years ago.
Right.
We had a video that the parents sent us with the child at 3 years old, had never taken his first step. They sent us a video from Panama City Beach with them literally bawling in tears, just praising God that their son was taking his first steps within a week after his infusion. So we have we've treated so many patients since then, it's hard to kind of keep up with everybody, but he had a tremendously positive, immediate response.
And for years.
And yes. And most all of our patients, the same thing. Just it's something that continues to evolve and continues to perpetuate, especially, when there's additional treatments or infusions.
Has your son undergone any hyperbaric oxygen treatments?
No, we had heard about that years ago, and when he was younger, he was really into sea life and sea animals and stuff. So he thought that it would be pretty cool because it was similar to, whales and stuff. So he was really the idea that might, help.
How old is he right now?
He's 32 now.
Okay.
But his knees and everything are becoming very contracted. So it would be so helpful if they could move, We're Canadian, so we wouldn't be even part of any of the type of insurance plans that you would have. So I'd be curious to know what the cost is.
Sure.
And that may be a good adjunctive therapy.
Well, there's no question.
So John and I actually got into a chamber together a couple of weeks ago, just to kind of test it out and see, if we'd be claustrophobic or anything. So, if you needed to get in with him, there are hyperbaric oxygen chambers that you could do that. And oxygen is very helpful therapy. It is the key
to health and to reversing disease. A state of hypoxia where the mitochondria is being starved of oxygen creates so many issues and disorders. And literally they're linking like 80% of the diseases that we know here in our country to hypoxia, a lack where your mitochondria is literally starving of oxygen. Once that oxygen is introduced, it just changes everything. There's the reason there's life on Earth is because of oxygen. So in the case of with your son, if you did a combination of modalities such as hyperbaric oxygen with regenerative infusions, and then you had him on a predominantly whole food plant-based diet, God created us. When you think of photosynthesis, you cannot have phytonutrients and phytochemicals without photosynthesis. There's no other more perfect food on planet Earth. And God gave us a clue. Where did he put Adam and Eve? In a garden. So, when it comes to optimal health and well-being, we tell people that this right here, your mouth, is the gateway to your longevity to how you feel, how you age, and how you reverse disease. What you put in and what you speak out is going to probably fundamentally be the most significant factor that's going to determine how healthy you are, how long you live, and your ability to prevent disease. I mean, and this is all really about prevention. Ideally, we want to educate people, live a regenerative life, and you're going to prevent most of the things that most of us Americans deal with. Unfortunately, in the case of your son, if you combine a predominantly plant-based diet, hydrate him with good oxygen-rich water to oxygenate the mitochondria. And then you combine a little bit of sunlight, you combine some hyperbaric oxygen. If you can combine some infrared sauna to reduce or detox, to actually extract any type of toxins out of his body. There's so many factors, but it's pretty simple and fundamental. When you combine these things, it's not like an addition equation, it's a multiplication equation. All of these things synergistically work together in concert to create exponential results. So it's not like this plus this plus this is 3. It's this plus this plus this is 9. It exponentially has those benefits because they work together in concert to create these results.
Yeah.
So Austin and I go into hyperbaric oxygen therapy every week. We go at different times, but I've been going for about 6 years. I actually owned a hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber myself, and I had to, go through the whole course and get certified to become a director in it. But it actually repairs your body 2,800% greater than your body can actually repair itself. So that, in combination with the stem cells, I tell them I'm going to be the bionic woman because that's what it makes me feel like. Because even the hyperbarics itself, but now with the regenerative medicine, it's preventative medicine for me.
Right.
More so than, that's why I go on the hyperbarics. And really, I love you guys so much, especially to know that you guys pray over me every single time before I get anything.
Listen, this is all about God's glory. We feel actually uncomfortable when people give us praise, or we just tell them right flat out, please give all the glory and praise to God. We are just facilitators of the way he designed your body to heal itself, and really to prevent these diseases that are so common in America. I mean, we're inundated with fast foods, dead manufactured processed foods that are void of nutrients. We don't get enough fresh air and sunlight. We don't detox enough. We eat all of this poison and garbage. We're exposed to thousands of toxins in the environment. There's no escaping it. But there is proactive measures that every one of us can do, not fanatically, but consistently. Just adopt the 80-20 principle. 80% of the time, Dr. Leslie and I, we live a very regimented, structured, regenerative lifestyle. 20% of the time, we'll eat pizza, we'll have a donut once in a while, we'll do things, but it's negligible when you're talking only 20% of the time. And, we motivate and encourage each other. So husbands and wives, it's great when you can do it together, but we're happy to talk to anybody, answer any questions. We'll even give you free time and coaching and mentorship with expecting nothing. If you never come to be our patient, we're on a mission to just help improve the lives of as many people as God puts across our path. But we want to emphasize the significance and the importance of oxygen. It's one of those things that we don't pay a lot of attention to, but when you think about it, when you look at the things that a human being cannot survive without, the first number one thing is oxygen. You can only go a few minutes and you're dead. You can go a few days without water, a few weeks without food, but just look at the prioritization that God made. The only reason there's life on earth is because of oxygen. So the more you can penetrate your hemoglobin, your blood plasma, and every area of your body to saturate it with oxygen, and then the phytonutrients, phytochemicals that come from a living plant-based regimen. We don't call it a diet because the first 3 words of diet are what? DIE. I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. I'm starving myself. I'm not eating all of the things I like to eat. And this is very important, Austin. I'm so glad that I got on that topic. The average American diet, or it's actually referred to as the standard American diet. What's the acronym to that? SAD. It's sad, it's dead, it's processed, and it's going to create and cause an environment of disease. At the end of the day, what this does is the opposite. It prevents disease. And the standard American diet is something that people, we have enough information now. The Google, the internet, there's so much more available information and science to back up that this is just not the right path. It's
Yeah.
led to us being, yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to just got a couple of people have questions, and then
Please.
let me ask you this: is there a website people can go to?
Absolutely. Regenerate, and that's spelled Regener, the number eight, the letter U.com. So regenerateyou.com, Regener, the number eight, U.com.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat area. And so we have a question here from Sid. Well, let me take Don's first. He was there. A couple of questions. How does this work with lower back pain and the connective tissues? Also, my wife is having that issue, and I have diabetes. Can you dive into that as well? Probabilities of success and cost to fix.
Would probably say that the number one thing we treat is backs, necks, knees, and shoulders, and hips. So we've treated, as a matter of fact, the 87-year young woman that we just talked about had a very acute lower back condition with severe pain in her lower lumbar. She received one treatment about 2 months ago. We just literally, what's that?
And hip.
And hip. And we spoke to her literally 2 days ago, and she's still 100% pain-free at 87. And she's a very young 87, and she's responded extremely well. But a lot of our patients, at least 50%, are back.
Right. So the anti-inflammatory effects of the stem cells usually occur within a day to a few weeks, and then the regenerative effects occur. And and when I say regenerative effects, I mean the stem cells actually cause your cells to turn into cells that produce cartilage. So the cartilage is, when the cartilage is lost, when you hear people say that bone, it means that their cartilage has degenerated. So the stem cells actually regenerate and rebuild and regrow, help your cells to regrow the cartilage within the joints and within your spine. And so that's how your spine is more cushioned and helps to decrease the back pain. It also helps to decrease the inflammation as well. And so for diabetes, it helps to restore the pancreatic cells that produce insulin. And so we've had people and normally with autoimmune diseases, we'll have patients undergo, multiple infusions, and we've heard them, we've seen them have decreased hemoglobin A1C numbers, so their labs are better, their glucose numbers are better, and so it's restoring the pancreatic cells in their pancreas. So that's how it helps with diabetes.
All right. So Sid says, I had rotator cuff surgery done a number of years ago. It wore out, and now I had a balloon put into my shoulder. The balloon is supposed to deteriorate and eventually turn into cartilage. I'm not sure how long it is going to last. Am I a possible candidate for stem cell therapy?
I don't see, there's no reason why not.
Positively.
Absolutely. There's no harm. And
it helps to regenerate the ligaments, tendons. If they've got, a partial rotator cuff tear or a full, it helps to restore the tendons and to regenerate that actual rotator cuff. So absolutely would definitely try regenerative medicine in that case.
Yeah, and one thing I want to put out there, that we're happy to tell everybody, we'll give you our cell number. If you want to call us and after you visit the website, any questions we don't get to that's specific for your condition or family members, you can call us. We'll give you as much free information, answer as many questions. We want our patients. Look, faith comes, you have the knowledge of what this is proposing to do. You combine the science with your faith, and you have miraculous outcomes. And this is not us doing anything. We're just leveraging everything that God created you to do naturally. So,
and it definitely reduces healing time. So if you've had surgery, it definitely would
accelerate
healing and helps to reduce the healing time.
And there's you can't in this amount of time share all of the really exciting things and all of the testimonies and all of the different things that this does overall. But when you combine all of these things together, it really truly does create a spectacular outcome. And you can expect to have and continue to receive that as long as you continue to stay consistent.
Right.
We've seen radical changes in people's lives.
So before we close out, I want to let's see, what was I going to ask? Oh, I was going to give out your cell phone. I wasn't sure if you wanted that,
yeah.
but
yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 941-737-1124.
And it's in the chat area, and their website's in the chat area also.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you.
We're gonna close out. There's no more questions. Pamela, are you still around, or?
I'm still here.
There she is.
All right, so we're gonna close out. Any final comments you have, Pamela?
No, I want to circle back on that hyperbaric they were talking about. Any gas under pressure becomes a liquid, and the oxygen in a hyperbaric is under pressure, so it becomes a liquid. In our lungs are actually what are those? What is it called? The little grape
alveoli.
Okay, alveoli. Yeah. So that actually absorbs this oxygen and is able to repair your body 2,800% greater. But just imagine if you have these stem cells, these new regenerative, this modality that they're offering. And I mean, I feel like Superwoman. I'm telling you, I think it went beyond my shoulders because I was like, guys, I felt like I was working out. I was working today, and I was like, man, I feel so energetic, and I'm just like, I think it went beyond my shoulders.
It did.
It definitely does. I mean, and when you combine oxygen being the most vital thing on planet Earth for life, you combine that with stem cells, what actually happens is it lengthens your telomeres. When you lengthen your telomeres, you increase the longevity of your life and the quality of your life.
That's awesome.
Simple. Yeah, it's just that simple, but it's all God. We give him all the praise.
Right.
And anybody that has questions.
63, I'll tell you. Yeah. I mean, I would say my body, I feel like I'm like 45. I feel better.
Well, you look like it too.
Actually,
I really feel like that. Yeah.
Listen, it was such a pleasure joining everyone. We're an open book. We can answer any questions. Anybody would like to talk to us on a personal level about their condition. We are very low key. We don't really try to ever sell anybody on anything. We try to educate our patients, and we even tell them, go to other places, see what they're offering, and then compare what we have and how we approach this regenerative medicine space. It's something well worth looking into. And if you want the best out of your life, if you want God's best for your life, it's something to strongly
live better longer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Live better longer. And
it's amazing.
It works. It works. It works.
Yes, it does. It does. And I even talked to you guys about harvesting.
Right.
So I was interested in that. And I'm
absolutely positively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Faith, that would be one thing that you might want to consider for your son you guys, again, with any other questions and details, we can go over pricing. And we try to, I will tell you this, where we have found that we are definitely below the average price. So if you take an average price throughout the city of Atlanta, we are below the average price, but we purposely do that so we can make this accessible to more people. And with Samaritan Ministries, oh my gosh, what an amazing, amazing organization. Holy
if you're not familiar with Samaritan Ministries, the way they do that is for each issue they have a price that they start with. So an average issue might be $350, but after that, for that issue, they'll pay 100%, even if it's a recurring problem. And so they've been very good there. And then I also had the Medicare took a portion of mine because Pamela's on Samaritan, I'm on Medicare. They paid a portion of mine. It was about 60%.
Awesome.
So they're gradually getting better and better about that. So anyway,
if anybody's interested in the Samaritan, have them go through you. Just contact you.
Okay.
Yeah, just go. Just when you go, if you don't have Samaritan and want to check them out, go just on SamaritanMinistries.org, and then if when they ask you referral, use our referral, and they'll give us a little stipend for that. So that helps our ministry.
Pamela.
That's great.
Are you
It'll be under
suggesting
Pamela's name, Pamela Hillman. So
are you suggesting though that an injection might only be like $350 and then they cover it?
yes.
No.
but not a stem cell injection.
No.
No, the overall cost would be a whole lot more of that, but your cost would be $350.
Okay,
Well,
I get
not completely, no, because we have to pay the full price and then we get reimbursed.
Yeah. That's right. We have to pay the full price. We put it on a credit card for 60 days. Then we get reimbursed by Samaritan.
So are we talking like $10,000 or just give an idea?
Ranges. It's all
Depends
different.
on
You
the-
would have to go through John, and you'd have to talk with John.
Yeah, you guys have gotten some pretty substantial reimbursements because, typically the average stem cell cost for an injection in one site is between $4,000 to $5,000. Now we're significantly below that, and we even have therapies now that have advanced so far that we're doing very effective regenerative therapies for as low as $1,500. So, it's a singular kind of approach with PRP, which is utilizing your body's own growth factors from your blood, but it's very potent, very powerful. We combine that with stem cells in certain conditions that have more degeneration or a more challenging issue. But we do everything we can to make our prices as affordable and accessible for the masses. We're in this to help as many people as we can. And,
And they really are.
Yeah, and
They
there's a lot
really
of
are.
cost in it, in terms of the regenerative space. The cost of goods are quite expensive, but we do probably one of the leanest margins that we know about. People are doing a 3, 4, 5x of what their cost of goods are. We never go over 2, and we're typically under a 2x. So again, just being open and transparent about it. We want to treat and help as many people as God brings across our path. The driver is not the money for us. It's to see lives changed, just like Pamela and us have been affected. That's all we care about. That's what, we live to serve.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure as Canadians whether we'd be able to get the Samaritan Ministries insurance plan or not. So that's why I was.
I'm not even sure. Yeah,
We're not aware if they cover it or not. You just have to check with them.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your time.
And Faith, we'll do whatever we can
We'll do whatever we can to
help your son.
I mean, absolutely.
Anything.
I'm thinking my husband's shoulders too.
Those are simple things. Those are simple compared to your son's condition. So we'll keep. What is his name?
Justin.
Okay. We'll be praying for just divine wisdom and God to do his supernatural healing.
Yeah. Okay.
John and Leslie, thank you so much for sharing your lives with us and what you're doing. And we pray that it'll be a blessing to many people and help people get out of pain. So
Thank you
Amen.
so much for
Amen.
having us. We
Honor and
appreciate it
privilege, everybody.
so much.
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Love you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We love you.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you much.